At this time, I would like to ask that Antoine's brother Philippe come up.
Hello, everybody. Wow. I must say, seeing all your faces really lightens the heart. I so appreciate all of you coming out here, the Naudi family. Thank you so much, everybody. It's just missing one guy. It'd be awesome. So good morning and thank you for coming here today to pay your respects to Antoine, to remember the unforgettable. And to say goodbye to his body and say hello to his spirit. And that's what we have now. We've got that beautiful spirit that filled our hearts. 2 weeks ago when I heard the tragic news, it's crushing, and that grief is here right now. It's real, it's raw, it's still here. But today's not about sorrow. It's about celebration of the life that he was and is. To fill that hole with laughter, stories. And I know we got lots. Dan's got 500. We got 501. So, despite these appearances, the sorrows here, like all of you, I'm sure you feel it here. And that's my grandson. There's a saying goes, deep calls upon deep. And I ask that we let the depth of the grief be met with the depth of the gratitude we have for having an opportunity to share some time and share our life with him, filled with the joy that he was. When we cry, as I've learned, especially of late, we tend to cry on the exhale, like a newborn baby. You've seen it. Just breathe, just breathe. But on the inhale, that's when we receive life. That's when we receive air. That's when we receive the world. On the inhale, on the expansion. So remember to take a deep breath. When you take that deep breath, that's where you're going to find Antoine. In the great expanse. That's where he is. So be sure to breathe. I've learned how to breathe recently. So I got a couple of stories to help you lighten up. And then I have a poem that I wrote, and it's on your pamphlets when we get there. If you don't mind, we can recite it together if you wish. But let's start with a kind of a goofy one that probably none of you really would know because this is when we were children, probably around my grandkids' ages right now, my boys aren't there. I'm not sure Francois ever quite recovered from this one. Oh. But one morning, me and Antoine, middle of the summer, well, we decided we'd decorate Francois' bunk bed while he was sleeping in Christmas decorations. We hang all the Christmas decks around his deck bed and he's sleeping. And then when we got it all done, we rushed into the room and we woke him up. Wake up! Wake up! It's Christmas! Whoa! He just screamed out the room, screamed down the hallway, and of course, it's midsummer. And there's no Christmas tree. Me and Antoine were just gutting ourselves. Cruel. As I say, I'm not certain he's actually recovered. And then, we created a little gang. Our first gang was called the Regan Raiders. And that was because there was myself, Antoine, Francois, Marcel Spinka, Paul Pahaka, Tony Dennis, a couple of guys in the neighborhood. We'd all get together and we took a map of paper, we wrote out the whole neighborhood. We marked every single house that had a garden. We raided the gardens. Yeah, we were those kids. We were the Regan Raiders. We found neighbors' houses that had carports with above garages, and we'd sneak up the carport inside the little garage port. We'd unload our corn in the cob and our, carrots, and we'd have a feast. And then all of a sudden we'd hear the dinner bell, ding, 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 ding. And Mom's screaming, "Dinner!" We're full. Yeah. One day, my wife and I, Carla, living in an apartment. Kids were little babies then. On Glen Drive, and get a buzz on our door on the intercom. Phil, Antoine? Yeah. You gotta get down to the underground. What do you mean? Get down, just get down here. Get the underground parking lot, your park. Just get down. Oh, okay, sure, okay. So I'm walking down to the car, and it's got a 510 Datsun, the one that Ralph Smith still owns. And I'm going like, I know he went hunting that day, so like he's got a trunk full of duck. He wouldn't be excited about that. I've seen trunks full of duck. He's not gonna freak out. So what did he do? Did he pull out his Beretta and shoot a deer? Like he's got a deer in the trunk of his car? I don't know. So I get down there, he jumps his car, he puts the key in the lock, and the lock wouldn't open. The trunk was so compressed from underneath, the lock wouldn't let go. So he jumps on the thing and sticks his key between his legs, and he cranks and he pops off, and the trunk just springs open. And it's full of weed. It's stuffed full of weed. I'm like, what the hell is this, dude? You wouldn't look and believe it. I was in the Fraser Valley hunting for duck. I got my Beretta over my shoulder, walking around, and all of a sudden I'm in the middle of a grow up. And I'm like, holy shit. You did what? Holy crap, the guy's got a Beretta there, too. He's got a grow up. He shoves it in the trunk and he locks it up, and I go, look at that. So I grab a butt off and run up to our apartment, threw it in the microwave, dried it, got a little hit. Oh, yeah, let's keep it. My dad's garage up at the Raptors and let it dry for a year. We had weed, we'd go to parties, and we had to wait forever up there. It's just crazy, right? Just Antoine, like, who knows, right? And there wouldn't be a story about Antoine if we didn't talk about his jokes. He loved his jokes. Not just any joke. Had to be a dirty joke. Had to be. Just 3 weeks ago, he dropped one on me. I'm not going to repeat it. But I call his jokes dirt bombs. And they're called dirt bombs because he would drop it on you, tell the joke, drop a punchline, and he'd walk away. And he's just looking at you, waiting for the dirt bomb punchline to hit your head, right? Oh no. Solid dirt bomb. That was it. Loved it. I didn't even hear a dirt bomb right now. Gonna miss him dearly. So, I wrote a poem, and it's on your pamphlet there. It's called The Brothers' Lord's Prayer. We're not in the church, we're not in the church ceremony, so I'm sure that many of you probably still recall the Lord's Prayer. You know, I had to repeat it in elementary school till I was about grade 6, I think it was, until they decided to take it out. Our Father who art in heaven. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read this poem. I'm going to try to muster up to do it. I wrote this for my brother Antoine. Our Father, who art in heaven, hearts us all together. From heaven to earth, and earth to heaven, we are all surrendered together. Hallowed be thy name, yours be Antoine, namesake of our father's father, of our father's brother, and warned by you and warned by me is my middle name, hallowed in hell, heir to heir. Honored, your name is written on my heart. Breathe. Love abiding without condition. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, and boy, did it ever come in with thine will, little brother. A life of will, whispering, a stealthy steelhead from the camouflage of its gin-clear waters, straight into your trusted hands, then released back home again. Astonishing. Give us this day our daily bread, and you did. And did you ever give, brother, again and again, year after year? From Como Lake waters, where we first cut our chops, to rivers and fields, where you harvest daily, scorned by father, and tell his own witness, the trunk peeking full of duck, silencing every doubt of your rich bounty, like no one I've ever known. Your hands of blessing at every supper. Lead us not in temptation, we did slide. Walk that crooked road together. Knew the empty glass that promises relief and comes with it its full measure of toll instead. We are not perfect men, dear brother, yet the promise of grace embraces fathers and heirs with open arms and loving hearts. Forgive us our trespasses, and with you, Antoine, it showed, where mercy triumphs and judgment surrendered. Your cup overflows, spilling into laughter and humor, downright silliness. You forgave before the asking, and everyone who knew you knew. For thine is the kingdom and the glory, from whence you came, and now your body rests in the deep of clear blue waters just the same. While your spirit unbound soars without end, even too vast for heaven to comprehend. So when you slip back into this realm, heard in the cry of a newborn baby, and that steelhead that stills at the river's edge to meet mine own eye, I will know you. Don't you worry now. Wherever you are, breathe. But whatever your name, I will find you again, brother. On earth or in heaven, in that ruckus of a place where fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers gather again and again and again. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. I will pass this mic back to Gabby.
Thank you, Phil. You got through that. Well done.
Thank you.
There are so many adventures and celebrations that created incredible memories with Antoine. Fishing trips, travels, graduations, weddings, children, the infamous Naudi parties. But part of healing is keeping these memories close to our hearts when we think of Antoine. Antoine was born November 29th, 1964 at St. Mary's Hospital in Westminster. Same hospital as me, actually. If he would have known that, he would have short-sheeted my crib. And Phil would have told him exactly how to do it. He grew up in the family home in Coquitlam on Regan Avenue. 1114 Regan Avenue, 939-2836. I know 3 landlines that I remember in my life. That's one that I'll never forget. Antoine started school at Porter Elementary School, which was just up the road from the family home. All three brothers were active in judo at a young age. This would pay massive dividends later in life, as all three excelled in wrestling. And when I say they excelled, they dominated the sport. Just a quick side note, talking to Julian today, I didn't know Julian's such an accomplished as well in judo, so that's where you got it from, brother, and you know that, but I just learned that today, so that's a nice touch. After Porter Elementary, Antoine attended Winslow Junior Secondary, and this is where our friendship began. We became quick friends and had some similar interests, and I encouraged him to come out for rugby, and he encouraged me to come out for wrestling. He just made wrestling look so easy, and I struggled. I could get people on the ground, but I had no idea what to do next. With his judo skills, he was just so far ahead of us. You know, we're grade 8 at this time, and he just makes it look easy. And in a non-condescending way, he would laugh at me and just look at me like it's just so easy. Just do this. He would show me. He would show me some moves, and I slowly adjusted to the sport, but he was well on his way. Warren Jaggerson came into the picture. I gotta go with this one, Warren. So, as our circle of friends grew, Warren's here today. Antoine's mom, Suzanne, was giving pottery classes in the garage. I think a few people remember that, or maybe a lot of you do. But so my mom started taking pottery classes with Suzanne because we're all getting friendly as we're going back and forth. And it was great, I thought. Oh, this is great. Easier to get rides up to the Naudi house so Antoine and I could hang out. And then Warren's mom got in the mix. And I can't remember if she was taking the pottery classes, but all three moms are now connected. So we're starting to explore the boundaries that teenagers do. And, you know, we're a little naive. We're dumb. We just couldn't get our stories straight. And we didn't really think about it at first. Warren would tell his mom, you know, we're going to hang out at Home Lake. Antoine would tell his mom, we're going to dance house. I'd tell my mom, oh, we're going to Logie Mall. We're going down to Logie Mall. And that's how we got busted buying bricks of firecrackers in Chinatown and selling them at school. So Winslow closed. For those of you that went there, you remember that. Or actually, I think it became an ESL school, but we all got moved to Como Lake. And then up to Centennial, which was the big time. That was the big school. I don't remember the exact number, but for years I've been saying there was 1,000 people in our graduating class. Antoine and I noticed the ratio of girls to guys and took advantage of that. Antoine and I graduated, and a few others from that same year. We graduated in 1982. Just after graduation is when his passion for fishing and hunting really, really kicks in. He's constantly going out to the rivers. The Chehalis, Vedder, Alouette, and of course our legendary Stamp River trips. We did more than a few of those. So, Antoine's passion for fishing becomes an integral part of who he is. His ability to read a river just astonished me. He was a savant. He could just see things in the river. I couldn't. And his instincts were bang on. You know, we've all, the guys that fish with him, we've seen this. He would walk up to a river with his polarized glasses, and he'd just cup his glasses and look down, and he knew exactly where to go, and he just went to work. And I'm like, I gotta get new glasses. I don't see the fish. he did it every time. He knew exactly where to go. I never hunted with him, but I can imagine it was the same thing. He just didn't come home empty-handed. The story that Phil told about his hunting trip, I remember him phoning me up, telling me that story. And I'm like, you did what? Once you realized you're in a pot field, you grabbed 20 plants and ran? You didn't just run? Like, yeah, so that's a great story. That's that was. So February 13th, 1989, we lose Ben Naudi, Antoine's father, Bonaventure Naudi. An amazing man, one of a kind. For those of you that met him, you know what I'm saying. Took a lot to put this together. A lot of good memories came out. There was a lot of work, and a lot of people helped sort of with the timelines. Julian, Joel, and Danielle connected just through a text group, and everybody was exchanging ideas. But it took a lot, guys, and I do have one page out of place here, so just give me a moment. So when Ben passes, it's devastating. I mean, the very foundation of the Naudi brothers and Laura are built on Ben's qualities. Their unconditional love for family, their passion for adventure, just love, laughter, music, just hyper enthusiasm for life came from Ben. It snowed heavily that day. It was beautiful. I remember Antoine just looking up and just like, this is Ben. It's snowing. He's hammering us with some snow. So for those of you that drove out here today, most of us, all that rain, and we pull up beside the river. Antoine's take on it today would be like, the rain is good for the river. It'll keep the fish moving. That would be his take on it. So Antoine and Michelle started their journey along with tiny Danielle. They are a family. Julian was born in July of 1991, and the family grows. They were married in October that same year, and Joel was born in 1995. I had the honor of being Antoine's best man. The day before the wedding, we were running around, we were picking up, beer for the event and just getting whatever, chairs, tablecloths. It's been a busy week. It's a busier day. We got things to do. And he decides we got to go to the Allen River and go fishing. We got zero time. But we do. I'm like, I try to talk him out of it, but I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. So we go to the river, and he just had to collect his thoughts. And no better place for Antoine just to collect his thoughts by the river. This is where my pages are out of order, so just give me a second. Got it, thank you. So the wedding, from my recollection, and probably everybody else's, it was amazing. It was a fantastic time. Danielle, you were so tiny and sweet. And thank you for pointing out my awesome mullet I was rocking back then. Many of the wedding pictures that are running behind me here that I have, they were taken by my dad. My mom and dad loved Antoine. They were living in Seattle at the time, and they just drove up. I don't even know if I knew. I just came out of the church and they were standing there taking pictures of Antoine and Michelle. There's one picture, I haven't seen it yet, but Antoine he looks a little shocked. They're walking out of the church, and he's got a very shocked look on his face. That's him looking at my parents. He hadn't seen him for a while, and it's one of my favorite pictures. It really is. And Julie and I don't really have any idea where you were during all those festivities, but in the background somewhere. Antoine's son, Julian, and his wife Nicole have 2 children, Blake and Charlotte. Antoine's daughter, Danielle, also has 2 children, Bria and Sloan. All beautiful grandchildren, which gave Antoine so much joy. Antoine's son, Joel, is engaged, and I understand his fiancee, Bianca, and Nicole were very instrumental in helping with this beautiful venue. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. I think everybody would agree this is just an amazing venue. Julian shared a nice story with me when Antoine was living with them for a short period. It was an amazing time for his family, having Grandpa around every day. Blake and Charlotte really enjoyed having Grandpa in the house that much. They came up with a silly but sweet nickname for Grandpa, and I'll leave that with the family. It's a nice memory, but thanks, Julian, for sharing.
No.
You okay, Charlotte? Grandpa farted. I guess he would go up the stairs and he would pretend the stairs were squeaking, but it wasn't the stairs. I got this. Just give me a second. I know where I'm going next. I just need there we go.
Great job, Dan. We love you, brother.
Oh, thank you, guys. It's a heavy day, but it's I do want to keep it light because these memories are amazing, and we're, like I said, we're going to grieve, but we're going to crack some smiles. So, to Antoine's children, I'm so sorry for your loss. Antoine loved music. He really loved music. And what he loved more than music was to DJ. He DJed so many of our gatherings, parties, events. He had these legendary Bose speakers. Are they still around? Yeah, somebody must have those speakers. Yeah. And I just remember the golden rule: do not put a drink on those speakers. He would come flying across the room if he saw you. So you could put your ear right next to it, you could lean on the speaker, but you could not put a drink on the speakers. I went to, I was in, just gonna flip back a bit, more about music, but grade 11, Mike Towner, you were in 12, we went to England to play rugby, went over for 2-3 weeks, England, Wales. Antoine and I are tight at this time, and of course there's no, iPhones, we're not texting each other. I'm gone for 3 weeks, and he's my best friend. And I come back, and it felt like I was gone for 3 months, because I come back and I'm wearing my AC/DC shirt, because we were big AC/DC fans, and he's like, oh no, it's Rush now, it's Rush. I'm like, okay, now we're listening to Rush. So I all right, let's get up to speed with Rush, and then no, that's Dire Straits. You gotta listen to Dire Straits. And it was yes, and I couldn't keep up, and I'm like, but he was just in it, and he was just way ahead of all of us, and bringing ahead just the best music for our parties. So. His laughter was infectious. Sometimes inappropriate. He just couldn't contain himself. If something was funny to Antoine, he just laughed. He had to let it out. One of the 500 stories, narrowed down to 4. Here we go. So in 1992, Antoine, Phil, Francois, and myself, we flew to Barcelona and traveled to Andorra to visit their extended family. Actually, Francois had flown out earlier. So we land, actually New Year's Eve, by the way. We flew out on New Year's Eve. Those poor people on that jet, I swear to God. Anyways, we landed in Barcelona, Antoine and Philippe and myself, and we're jet lagged. We're a little hungover. And we're thinking we gotta get on a bus and go to Andorra. That's just part of the journey, and you know, we're excited. And it's a 3-4 hour bus trip, you know. And we get to the airport, and we arrive and grab our bags, and Francois meets us, and he's already booked us a room in Barcelona. And we're so happy because we're done traveling. We just want to put our feet up. So he's got this beautiful room on Las Ramblas, right in Barcelona. It's an unbelievable city. We've got a few days, which was great for the jet lag and everything, right? So we did a few nights on the town, and it's an absolutely incredible city. Just did some crazy stuff, and we eventually did take in some culture and architecture and did some exploring. And we came across this incredible church. I mean, it was just stunning. So we walk out and we open these massive doors, and it just takes our breath away. We're just staring at this thing. Antoine just couldn't hold back. He just works out, holy shit. And it just echoes through this church. And Phil just like snapped his head around, being the big brother. And Antoine pulled himself together and started backing out of the church, and he just starts laughing. He's just laughing. And I mean, he realized his gaffe, but a little inappropriate, but pretty damn funny. So there were so many laughs on that trip. The brothers absolutely gave me a crash course on the art of pranking. You heard Phil's story earlier, Christmas in the summer. Francois still traumatized. So their prank, the Naudi brothers pranking is next level, which I learned. I mean, who covers a toilet bowl with saran wrap in the middle of the night? That's another thing. So on this trip, the brothers dubbed me Chico. Chico Dan. I've become an honorary Naudi brother. Laura's already taken me in, stayed in the house lots when I was going to DCIT. Nobody else on this earth calls me Chico.
Chico.
Thanks, brother. And on that note, actually, Francois, we're going to call you on. You want to say a few words? Thank you.
Dan called for Chico Dan. And Chico he was, and Chico he is, and good friend, always showed up. Asked Dan, he helped the family, always there, vice versa. Go to our friendship. Lots of stories to be told, and that was what we'll do today. Bless my brother, honor him today. I didn't really prepare nothing, I just wanted to go naturally and feel the room and all this beauty, friendship, and the pride, how proud I am. His family is beautiful and all here, growing, and all of our families are growing, and some are moving on to where Antoine is now. It's just a beautiful thing, it's just life. And here we are at this point in our life as we've lost a soldier, a brother, a friend, a father, all of them. Stories will be told. Today I wanted to present maybe something you don't know about my brother, his great tradesmanship. He's a great tradesman. a lot of people met him when he was in the office, but back in the day of 1984, when they started building Whistler, he was 16, I was 14. They built the Blackcomb Hotel, which the first structure up there was a camp. Camps there back in the day when they built Whistler. It was on just their highway. Paul Hopper could speak to it because he traveled many times. And Antoine was up there working if you ever go to Blackcomb, you look up, you see these chimneys up in the top, and they're stucco. That's where Antoine was up there wiring those suckers, right? The end walls were stucco. And I was too young, so I could not go up there. My dad wouldn't let me. But they were living in camps. There's a gentleman named Yvon. Antoine and Yvon worked together because Yvon was a mason. He's a gentleman that actually crafted these two pens that we have here today. He made them and presented them to my office. One was for Antoine, one was for myself. I didn't get Antoine's to his into his possession, but today we're using the sign. This goes back a lot of years, okay? So Antoine worked with tradesmen his whole life as well. He was a great carpenter. He enjoyed the craft. These are his homemade fishing rods I present here today. He made these. He made one for me. Mine is fully operational. These ones were broken. I mean, the amount of abuse you can put on a fishing rod when you're slaying them, as we would say. So as we travel through our lives, Antoine's carpentry skills became what we built a company called Mainland Stucker and Drywall, and then we built another company called United Scaffold. And together with all of us, and a lot of our staff are here today in honor of my brother, and thank you, God, and Peter, and Jose, and Paul, and Jim, and his wife Cindy, and there's so many of us. Thank you. So I just want to remember that when you grab that nail and that hammer, and you start to build something, do it with passion, and dedication, and honor, and desire to finish it properly. Don't do anything halfway, guys, in your life. Finish it. You know, it's short. It can be short, but more so for some of us, right? Stories, I got one. It's called the Red Eye. It's called the Red Eye Dam. You know the story, I'm sure. It's a film. Wool was a great lure for catching fish. Lure. You have to color it together, tie it together, design the colors together. I thought look at the day and look at the clouds, look at the color of the water. So today's gray. We need some bright colors. Wrap it up with some gray though too. We catch fish with this stuff. We make them ourselves. These are anglers. That night we'd sit there in the camera and just make them, design and laugh and have some beers and even smoke a joint. Just the way it was, right? Get up in the morning and we go hit that river, and I guarantee every second cast bang at once on a fish. My third, fourth cast I'm gonna fish. The reason I was in was fish because he taught me how to fish. He taught a lot of men in this room how to fish, a lot of women in this room how to fish. He was an incredible fisherman, absolutely. Smell him, I don't know what it was. Speak to him. It's gonna be hard. I don't think I'm gonna catch as many fish without my brother by my side, but I will give it my all best. It was an interesting, we called it the Red Eye. That's what we called it. We slayed a lot of fish with it. So these are, this is the artfulness of life. And the tradesman that he was, not only in the river, to building the tackle, to building the fishing rods, to his skill in his trade. There's a good tradesman right there. Alan Dussault, a good family man. Alan, I'm so pleased you're out here today. Bless you, my friend. Beautiful people, all of you. I name all of you because you'll be here forever. It's a nice place. Very bishop, I like it. Where's you all? Where's you all? Well, I apologize if you're here. Great member of our staff, another great tradesman, lots of great tradesmen in this room, I'm sure of it, right? A little off tangent, I'm sorry. Apologize. Thank you. So I just want to bless the family. It's the sons, the daughters, the future. The future's here. Take it. Honor your father. Love your father. Tell many stories to come. Bless him. I love you, brother. I truly miss you. God bless.
Hello, everyone. I'm Warren. Oh. Yeah, it's tough being here. I'm very emotional. Yeah, it's just so many memories. Just taking a second here and get it together. Antoine just brought so much to so many people as a friend, family, brothers, all of us, we all grew up. And when you met the Naudi family, you didn't just meet Antoine, you became a member of the family. And we all enjoyed our company and that ensued. Everybody was, you were just family. That was how it is. And you made sure you didn't get in between the brothers when they were fighting. They try and pull them apart, and then they'd all beat you up. So we didn't do that. I learned that right away.
Don't come near me.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, let's just end that word. Yeah, but we know who the head of the families are. Yeah, but yeah, we had a lot of years. Geez, oh my God. I met the brothers in judo. It was a club just down the street from us. And I went to a different elementary school than Porter. I was at Harborview. I mean, all of us intermingled once we came into Winslow. And I see so many happy faces and friends. And it just brings back so much, and that's why I get emotional. So, we all got tighter in high school. But Como Lake used to get foggy in the fall, and it would get so thick you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you, and there'd be, I don't know, 20 guys. And we'd all run around and playing games and smashing into each other. We were just kids, and we all grew up from when we were so little, and then the adventures changed when we were running around in the park. The Naughty's house was right there. They were on the park, so everyone was always welcome. So we knew, I met so many different people, and the parties that we used to have there on the board were great. They were adventurous, and Ben and Sue were always welcoming, and they were very understanding. Like no other parents I really knew, because they'd come home from a dinner out with their friends, and there'd be a full-on rock party going on with the speakers. He knew every song, he was unbelievable with the amount of music he'd have, and he'd learn, and Ben and Sue would come in the house and be looking around, well, you guys decided to have a little get together tonight. About 200 people. So, but we always cleaned up. We always picked up all the beer bottles and everything else. That was when we were in the teen years. But I remember when we were just kids in the Winslow, like the fishing, like some of this will be repeated because the stories we were all part of. But Antoine's fishing was unbelievable. Como Lake every day after school we would be fishing. I mean, I commercial fished, so I did it on a different level, but Antoine knew how to catch trout. I'd be throwing mine and not understanding why I wasn't catching fish. But he could tell me the exact spot where I could get an 8-inch rainbow trout because they were right there. And he would do it, he'd be catching it, we'd go to another side to get the bullhead or the carp. And that was just at Como Lake. And all the fishing derbies. I used to, like, he'd come home with the new fishing rods and everything else because he'd won them. And Tony and him were very competitive. Tony Dennisau, he was a judo guru too. So I don't want to talk too long. I don't want to put him going to. Because I say I care, but you're going to hear me and you're going to hear me. This is for Antoine. Love you, brother. So he could catch, he was unbelievable. Like he would load up and then something, I remember they had first prize for carp. Do you remember the story? So you couldn't catch a carp with a rod. They didn't bite the gear, but somebody had thrown a net out, like I think about 3 days before the fishing derby, and there was probably about an 8-pound carp. So Antoine grabbed the carp, and I can't remember who the other culprits were, but they grabbed it, and they said, we're gonna use this for the fishing derby. So they froze it. Because it was a good prize for the carp. So when they fought it out the morning of the event, they were gonna just put a hook in and throw it in the lake. But the eyes were blue. We just cut the head off. We just say we dressed it. So they threw it with a dressed carpets, and they got the fishing rods. And I thought, well, it worked, nobody would have got that one. So we had some fun in that. But they were always like that, and him and Tony were so competitive, and then friends, well, all the boys would fish, but Antoine was this scholar. He just, his whole life in hunting, and the stories with the marijuana miracle. Well, I was out hunting with them lots of times out in Mission, and we'd go duck hunting, bird hunting. Have the guys. So I know this guy, he lets us go on the property. He says we can go on here, and it says no trespassing, do not enter, not allowed. And he goes, no, I have talked to him. He says it's okay. So it was like weather like this. There's big ponds with ducks everywhere, and they were just everywhere. And I remember blasting away, and we got, I don't know, we had half a dozen ducks each. And all of a sudden, we see this farmer is on the other section of the land yelling. And all of a sudden, I see him getting into a little buggy circle, and I see him with a shotgun. I go, Antoine, you know this guy. He goes, I think we better leave. So we hightailed it out over the fence and that. So but he always swore we were allowed there because he just didn't recognize me. We knew the birds were there. So. And then when Phil said, like, with the car, we would have parties. Lots were at Antoine's house, but usually every weekend we try and go to the end of a little 5-10, and we would pack like 8 people into it. And it's just, you know, 5-10 fits 3 people crowded. So we'd have people crammed in it. We're trying to go to a party, and I was saying, we better slow down. It's one thing that we got too many people in it, but you still have 5 pounds of pot in the back because he had all this weed that he found that he never would get it out of the car because we might need some. And we get pulled over with this. I'll drive slow. But we had times. They were good. I'll look at some of my notes. I like we all have stories. They never end. And then you think of one, and then there's another, and another, and another, and the laughter. And Antoine, yeah. But he was always the one that would manage to slip away when things went bad. We'd be running around in the park when the fog was one thing, but then when we were a little older, we'd have our little 6-packs of beer. And the police knew where we'd be at the end of like Naudie's house, and they would, you see the cop car coming with the lights off, and we're all running every which way because we knew right away. But Antoine was always the one who never got caught. He'd be gone, and we'd be sitting there trying to talk our ways out of it, but they would just confiscate it and tell us not to be bad boys and go home. So they were pretty good back in the day. Yeah, it was different than what it was. Yeah. I just put some notes down. I got pages and pages, but I just like to touch on a few things that the Naudis. But with Ben and Sue, you'd never get to leave if you were prepared. Like so many of us, I think we slept all over the house. Or usually, in the morning we'd go. But Antoine goes, well, you can sleep in the trophy room tonight, Warren. It's a big comfy couch. Yeah, okay, great, thanks, man. So I'm in there and kind of crash out. And of course, it's wee hours in the morning. So as soon as the sun comes up, probably about 4:30, Sue's birds start. And we're going, oh my God. And so Antoine would just laugh because he knew he'd set me up. I wasn't going to get any sleep that night. And we would all be thick-headed in the nook, sitting there, I'm going, oh God, the morning's here, we're all hungover, and then Ben goes, oh, I got the best thing for hangovers. This, you guys, you got to try it. And he goes, it's just cherries. And I go, cherries? I love cherries. So he opens up this jar of cherries. You threw about 3 in your mouth, and they've been soaking in 100% moonshine. And you couldn't breathe. You just, your breath was gone. It's like, so by the time you got your breath back, you didn't have a hangover because you just ingested about 3 ounces of pure moonshine. So you're right on your way to go. But yeah, I heard the dog, and then we'd all be sitting there. I could go on and on about those stories, but yeah, we had some fun times. But Ben would get in there with us. And we did have some troubling times, but no one ever really got in any real trouble. And then, like I said, with the wrestling, then Dan was wrestling, we all wrestled. And then I remember the Naudis were just clean house. We laughed, they were all national champions. And they always say, you know, that's why you never wrestled. When they fought with each other, you just said, yeah, just leave them, it's okay. They're okay, they'll have bloody lips, but don't worry about it, you'll be way worse off because you can't take on 3 of them. So, but yeah, they excelled, and that was high school. That was all the fun. We participated in a lot of good things. We weren't just all little haywire kids. We actually contributed, or so we tell ourselves. Yeah. I guess pretty much after graduation, things kind of, with myself, I used to go away from work, I used to fish, but I worked for the Naudis for years, on and off, and we would do the Whistler, like Dan was saying, and there was a place called Zeppo's, and it was an unbelievable place in Whistler. He was an original individual that they had Zeppo's run, like he built Whistler. The family built the hotels and that, but this was one of the original people. We could stay at his house, and he had a hot tub about the size of this dance floor with all rocks in it, and the logs in the house were built. They're just massive, so we would be housed there when we were working. And I'd never been so cold in my life. They'd always, I knew why they were so good at all the sports, because I had to do the work that they did, and I'd have to supply mud to these brothers that could smear it on the wall in 2 seconds. And they'd go, "Where's the mud? Where's the mud?" You know, and it's me trying to get up a ladder. But they were so strong, and such hard days of work. It was just unbelievable what they created there, and all the different high rises and buildings that we did. It was very impressive how the family built such a fantastic business. And, it was nice to be part of it and grow up and working with your friends. And then we all kind of had families, and we got even more responsible. And, you know, we kind of grew apart. You have to raise your families. The kids are the biggest part of it. Then afterwards, I guess our kids have all grown up, and I reconnected a lot with Antoine about 20 years ago, and he was always our social butterfly. He had all the parties lined up and held them, but he had discovered Facebook. So, oh my God, I was talking with him, oh, we gotta go over here, we got this agenda set up, we gotta meet these people, we're going out, we're doing this, and then he booked a trip. He contacted Dad and I. He goes, oh, I don't think I can go alone because there's 9 girls and they're going to go to Cancun. It's just me, so you guys better come too. Well, I don't know if we can do that. Dad had prior commitments, so I did the trip with Antoine, and it was a remarkable trip. I met my wife on that trip, and we reconnected, and we ended up, we've been together ever since. But Antoine, when we got there, we were drinking the Corona. We had quite a day the next day, and we were out down on the beach, and we were drinking, I don't know how much tequila and stuff. And I couldn't stay. I said, we've got to get our own suite. I go, you and I, because living with 9 women, there's only 3 bathrooms. I said, we have to have some privacy. But we got there, and Antoine was feeling no pain, and we were, all the condos faced onto the beach, and he left Tracy, Barb, and Tony, myself, and and he went outside to have a bathroom break. And then after about 15, 20 minutes, we didn't know where he had gone. Like, we were looking outside and we couldn't find him, but we lost him. We never saw him until the morning. And then I said, what happened? And he was, well, I just went outside for a minute, and I went back, and all the lights were out, and you guys were gone. And I said, no, we never left. We never left this week. He goes, well, I didn't think it was right either, because I went in and I didn't recognize the luggage. It wasn't mine. And he goes, then I went into my bedroom, and then I thought maybe you put your luggage in. Then I turned on some lights, and I go, I realized it wasn't even our suite. So he goes, I didn't know what to do. So he went back out onto the beach, and then I guess he was confused, tired, and we'd been going hard, and it was late at night. So he just went to sleep on the grassy knoll there. He came in the morning, and Antoine always got nicknames because he's all covered in green grass stains, and he's going, he goes, yeah, I just slept out there, and he's scratching himself. He's looking at his legs, and I guess he slept on an ant's nest. He was the main course for the whole night. So the next couple of days he was scratching, but the girls named him Mr. Green Jeans after that, and that stuck for quite some time. Yeah, I know we know for him. But yeah, he always had an adventure. He'd always find his way to one event to another. But yeah, he just brings back so much memories, and I remember, and because of him, I'm remarried and happy. And he's just changed my life forever. And he's just always been there for us. And, you know, the hunting. But the stories they always got happier and happier when you were with him. It was never business. It was just how much fun could we have. And he changed my life and was part of it forever, and always will. I truly miss him. And we'll see him in a number of years, I guess. We'll be there together, hopefully, making some more memories. Thank you very much.
Francois, just reminding me, you said, okay, one moment. You wanted me to tell the beef jerky story.
Well, my mind is not all there. I'm
Okay.
in a lot of pain now. The beef jerky is from Desroches. I'm thinking a lot of people might be fairly familiar with Desroches, the corner store there. We used to stop there in the mornings before going duck hunting, and Antoine and I get a $10 bag of beef jerky, and there we go, and set up our decoys, and hopefully execute a few ducks for dinner. So I brought up some beef jerky in his honor, so please just finger food, just eat away at it, and reminisce. There's on a beautiful Ducks Unlimited plate. Yes.
Thank
My
you.
days of duck hunting.
Very nice. Those rods, I stood beside these guys on all these different rivers, and I never got a rod, but I got a lot of tips from Antoine. Obviously, we all did for fishing. If there's anybody else that wants to come up, we're going to have Julian, Joel, and Danielle come up last. But a little bit of an open mic. If anybody wants to say a few words, now's your chance. And Derek's looking right at me, so come on up. This is Derek, Philippe's son, Derek Naudi.
Not much for here, but a lot of those stories had me thinking, you know, when I came in 1983, these guys were all just kids still. And when they talk about parties at the house, I got to enjoy a few of those as a little guy, being downstairs and yelling out for them to turn the music down. Probably usually always Antoine cranking it. But I also got to get to one of those, not one of the big trips to the Stamp, which I always wished I could, but I was too young. But I remember getting out on one of those trips just to the local areas, and it was the guys, and the lore is true, how phenomenal he was at his craft. And here I am with the bouncing Betty, just hoping to God I would catch something. And I remember on the trip, I caught it, but I snagged it by the tail. And I kept it. Probably the only salmon I grabbed out of that river in my life. And as I got older, I got the opportunity to go and work for my uncle and my uncles, meet a lot of good people there. And when you think back on those times, you realize how special that was to be able to see, to be able to see your uncles every day. But what I know for sure is that's where I learned the Naudi work ethic, because it runs deep in our family. We all work our asses off. You know, to studying the stories of him and his love for music are for sure true. And those both speakers, they sure have some memories. The house in Pitt Meadows, we'd go and there'd be Antoine cranking, oh my God, whatever it was that we were listening to. Always the oldies. I know he loved the Police. That was a big one. I hated them. Like, who are these weird? It was a weird band. He was like, oh, come on. And we loved those speakers so much that my dad ended up with a set back in Wiltshire. That reminds me of the story, you know, when my grandmother and grandfather would say we're heading out for dinner and they'd come home to a party. That runs in the bloodline. My mom and dad would say, we're heading to the keg, we'll be back in a couple hours. I was on the phone, they'd come home. There'd be like 60 of us and I'd see them pull up and I'd look at my buddy and I'd pass him up here and say, quick, run to the door and give that to my dad. You know. The memories that I got to share with my uncles, my aunt, my grandfather, my grandmother. I was pretty blessed being the first and having those opportunities. But I just wanted to share a couple stories with you guys. I love my uncle dearly. And he's with Grandpa now, that's for sure.
Thank you, Derek. I can't butcher it, or can I? Was that one mine? No,
It was like,
yeah, there's of the 500, there's about 17 that can't be told, I guess. Honestly, it wasn't that bad, but yeah, we'll keep that one off to the side. But that was when Derek, well, no, you were older then.
Well, we could just say there was a pink sombrero.
There was a pink sombrero involved, and the police weren't sure who was wearing it. That was the confusion. It was either Derek, me, or Antoine. They couldn't figure it out, so we got away with what they thought we did. Is that enough?
When we were walking back from the pub to the campsite, you guys took it off my head and chucked it into the campsite that we were staying in. It was an empty lot. We get back, we're talking about the story of what happened, and here comes the park host with the pink sombrero. It's like, I found your hat. my dad grabs it from this guy, chucks it under the trailer. 5 minutes later, the cops show up, looking for the guy with the pink sombrero.
And I mean, it really wasn't that bad, little thing. It was some stuff will be about, but yeah, it was all about this pink sombrero. That was going to identify the crime scene. Yeah. We're trying to hide this thing, and people are like, "Here's your hat." It was a good memory. That was a good camping trip. That one was. I mean, we had so many of those trips. But, so again, just one last chance before I call up Antoine's children. Is there anybody else that wants to say a few words here?
My name is Rick Cassia. My deepest condolences to the family and all of you people that knew him. We all knew him. He was a fabulous fisherman, father, friend, all of the above. but he also cheated. We used to fish the Stamp River together, and there was a few spots. We all had names for it: Swanson's, Paper Mill Dam, the Gun Club. We had all the names. One time we're down and we're crossing Swanson Field. It's an old farmer field. Tony was like, come on, let's go. We got the permission from Swanson. So we're hauling across the, it was like 5-acre farm. So we're walking along. Next thing I know, big fucking bull. He ain't saying hi. But Antoine's already booking it. I think he wanted us to get hurt so he had less competition. Because he was a good fisherman. That's one story. The second one, we were at the Gun Club, and it's a spot that you fish off a high bank, and it's 40 feet down. And you hook your fish and you walk past everybody down into a nice flat open bay and land your fish and continue, and you can come back up. So we thought, well, we'll try and kind of go down on the edge of this cliff. So we're down on the edge, and we got to a flat spot. And Antoine, he says to me, I got a big fish on. And he's there, and he goes, pound it. That was his famous thing. Pounding it, pound it, pound it. And I snapped my rod because I pounded it. Antoine lost the fish. That was his intent. Another time, Alberti, this is the last one. We were all shittered, and we were staying at the campsites. And the Naudi brothers got a big pool. And there was a bunch of the guys there. And they got this pool, and it was a great big pool. They dug it into the ground and stuck this pool here. And then they put this tarp through it. It was a party place. Because that's what they did. But for some reason, we went to the bar. Don't tell us. I'm telling. We went to the bar. It was like halfway up to the campground from Port Alberta.
Oh, shit.
So we were all partying there. And to this day, I don't know who it was, but there was a brawl. And I think Antoine started it. But he wasn't sticking around. He wasn't around. Where'd he go? I think you guys ushered him out of there.
No, I ran out.
Well, you all ran out of
As
there.
fast as I could.
So one of the guys, he was an idiot. He's not here no more. He pulls a knife. But he didn't realize there was like 40 people gonna kick our ass. And there was like 6 of us there. Except now there was only 3. So we had to really do some high talking to get out of there. But you guys were already back at camp. But I still don't know if it was Antoine that started that thing.
It was over a girl.
Hey, over a girl, yeah. It was him. Yeah.
I know the story.
Yeah, but when the news came through that Antoine had passed, I was shocked, as all of you were. I never knew that he was not feeling well. Had I known he wasn't feeling well, I'd have gone and seen him. And he'll be truly missed. And he'll never be forgotten. Never. To Antoine.
This is the awkward part. Thank you everyone for being here today. Witnessing this many people gathered together for our dad is incredibly comforting. And it reminds us just how many lives Antoine touched on how many stories and memories exist because of him. How much joy, laughter, and memories are woven through his life. It's no secret that Dad loved bringing people together. As I reflect in quiet moments and return to all the memories and qualities that bring together my love for him, there is a profound ache. Yet, I smile when I revisit the ordinary moments that hold my deep love and gratitude for him. Dad loved his family. He instilled an insistence on sitting down for meals together, complete with his awkward eating noises that accompanied his joy from home-cooked meals. Dad went all in on holidays, always with the best and sometimes questionable Halloween costumes. The flasher. He carried a genuine, childlike excitement about making every celebration special for us. Every Christmas meant a real tree, cut down as a family, complete with his tattered blue robe and an undeniable joy to witness the magic of Christmas morning for me and my brothers. One winter, he built us an elaborate igloo, working on it until sundown, determined to get it just right. Very intentionally making sure we dominated the neighborhood snowball fights that followed. Dad had a very distinct laugh when I told him my outrageous stories or made questionable decisions. It's that laugh that said, "You are unhinged and I'm here for it." He would rub my face in that awkward way, saying, "My girl, my girl, my girl." And I would give anything to return to these moments just one more time. Just to stay a little longer. As I'm making my way through the ache and coming to terms with the reality that we don't have him in the physical form, we can all find him in the laughter, the traditions, and the places and people he loved. When a stepfather loves a daughter, he chooses her every day. And that choice changes her life. Dad, thank you for choosing me. Loving me without conditions. And join me in the quiet ways what unconditional love really looks like.
Bear with me. I just wanted to start with saying thank you to everyone who came out to make this event special. When my sister and brother and I were organizing this, what was on the forefront of our mind was how can we honor Dad in the best way we could? I think we did that. After listening to everyone today, one word that keeps coming back to me when I think about my dad is commitment. I was trying to think of the story of him teaching me commitment. but teaching something like that isn't always a pretty thing. Literally dragging me out of bed to get my ass to work, taking me to practices for judo and soccer when I didn't want to go. And those times he did and got me there were always the best ones. And I do that with my kids now. And looking back at those times and doing it myself now, that isn't an easy task, especially knowing how stubborn us Naudis can be. I'm grateful for those moments now. My dad taught me a lot of things, but the biggest lesson he ever gave me was commitment. Commitment to family, to work, to the things and people he cared and loved for. He believed that if something mattered, you show up for it. Not once, not when it was easy, but every fucking time. One of my oldest core memories is Dad taking Joel and I on 2-day fishing trips, and our nicknames were Two Fish. I guess I don't need to explain it, but I will. He would call us that because we would raise his limit to 6 fish a day instead of 2. He did his catch limit both days, every fucking time, and we'd come home with enough fish to feed the neighborhood, and he would. He was always so proud to share his earnings with anybody. He also ruined me when it comes to eating fish. Anything not caught by him does not and will not meet those standards, ever. Like, this is off the cuff, dude. My wife will bring home fish. I'm like, that is fucking garbage. And then my dad would come home, like come to my place for a visit and give me some vacuum sealed real shit. And I'm like, babes, this is fish. He always made me feel special. He made me believe that I could achieve anything I set my mind to. That kind of confidence is something that stays with you for life. Him and I had a strong bond, and that's because I'm the spitting image of him, inside and out. We share the same stubbornness. We share the same stubbornness, the same humor, and the same way of seeing the world. Because of that, we understood each other without needing many words. I have so many beautiful memories of you that I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And this year I had with you is one of my favorites. I'm especially grateful for the bond and friendship you created with my daughters, something that will stay with them a lifetime. And something I'll always be thankful for. I will honor you, Dad, by living a life you'd be proud of, by committing fully to my family and carrying forward the lessons you gave me. Thank you for everything, Pops.
I wrote some stuff down, but I don't know. I kind of just feel like talking. It was really hard to come up with what to say. You know, there's a lot of history in our family and a lot of different things, and it was just I was having a bit of my brain's like mush right now, you know. And then I thought, like, you know, if he's listening right now, what would he want to know? And that's that I love him and that I miss him, and that I think he has had much more of an impact on my life than you'll ever know. And there's we have a lot of great memories that I'll remember forever. You know, like we do a road trip to Saskatchewan every couple of years. I just get harassed by these two, and it was like, oh, this is terrible. But like, I remember he always had such a good, like, I love road trips now to this day, because we'd always just have such a good time, and we'd crank our music, and we'd laugh, and it was so nice. And or like, we'd spend hours, man, I swear, we would just sit on the couch for hours and watch these same live DVDs. It was Rush in Rio, U2 in Chicago, and the Eagles, Hell Freezes Over. I've watched it 100 times with them. Yeah, and it'll never get old. Like, I still love those DVDs, and it's because that's how we bonded. Like, we just had a love for music, and that's mostly where I got it from. And those are the things that I'll remember. And like, music is just, is what it, what it does to me, like listening to it now, that's what gets me today. Right now, it's like, it's hard. But like, so many good memories, and like, he showed me that, like, so I worked with him for years, and like, I just got to see how he interacted with people, and on a day-to-day basis, it wasn't like, I got to see the real him, and like, it's not putting on a show, it's like, what you see is what you get with that guy, and he was just somebody that, like, people wanted to be around, and that's stuck with me forever. Like, you don't have to take life too seriously, and like, then you can, take time to do the things you love, and when we were kids, like, he tried to do that. He tried to bring us and do the things he loved, and he had the little aluminum boat out in the front, and that little gravel in the driveway, and he was just so excited to take us fishing with them, and we never got as good as him. My thing was, I started golfing, and then so like, I called him on the phone. We sat with my friend who got married in Mexico, just in November there, and we that was it. I'm like, hey man, we're going to Mexico, going golfing there. I'm gonna golf for a week. And he's like, cool, you should be fishing. That was it every time. He just wanted to be. That's what he wanted me to do. But he's so happy for me to be. He's a proud father. He's a proud man. Proud of his kids, and proud of his spaghetti sauce that he made, and like, and his jokes. No one laughed at his jokes more than he did. But such a good man. He had a heart of gold. Like, I'm getting married this year, and he was so excited to be there. And he's telling everybody. Half the people in this room know I'm getting married because he was bragging about it. I just know, he'll be there in spirit, and it's gonna be an amazing day, but it's gonna be a hard day now. Gonna make sure to play the songs that he wants. Make sure I'll feel him there. So now I'm just we spend the rest of our days just doing what we can to honor him, and make him proud, and do what we can. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming out tonight.
Thank you guys. I'm sure that was tough, but you're showing some strength there. So we've not ending here. We're keeping his memory going here this afternoon. There is a lunch that they are bringing out. I'm not following any timeline right now. Is it 12:30, 1 o'clock? That's kind of what we're shooting for here. We're gonna stick around. They're setting up in here, Francois. They're
in the lounge.
Thank you. Yeah, just a little bit.